Okay, test 1, test 2. I think everything should be working. Let's see here. It seems to be online. Okay, it's online. Welcome to the stream. I've got a new setup here so that I can actually look at the camera. Microphone's right there. Chat's right here. Welcome, everyone. We got Edith's 26 Smithoni, Christopher Williams, James Blackburn, Serena Davis, Maestus001. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Oh, video and audio are okay with a thumbs up. That's good. Okay, so I don't have a specific topic for today, and also the last few streams I've been trying to figure out a better way to do discussion, and the way I open that sentence makes it sound like that I figured out a solution to that. I have not figured out a solution to that. So maybe even discussion is not the point. Maybe it is just a Q&A type of thing. I don't know. But hello, Justin Marks, Rochelle Anderson, Seth Dombach, and John Binter. Yeah, I don't have anything specific that I wanted to talk about, but I can just start rambling if you guys want me to. If you have questions, feel free to ask the questions and we can go from there. Today, what is the temperature today? Today it was like 49, but it felt like such a nice day that it felt like warmer than that. Hello, Daryl Anderson from Japan, and Jeremy Cox, hello. And Lucia. See, I want to say Mueller, but I don't think it's Mueller. I don't know how to do the, what's it called? Umlaut. That's an umlaut, right? Jason Bourgeois just became a Greedo last month, and happy to be on board. Welcome. Thank you for donating. And Strange Quarks, welcome. Anna A, welcome. Okay, watch any good shows lately? I actually don't watch that much Netflix. Every time I go onto Netflix, I'm like, man, there's got to be so much stuff on here that I want to watch, but there never really is stuff that catches my attention right away. So I haven't been watching anything recently. I'm really looking forward to Better Call Saul, which comes out sometime later this year, the season 4, I think. But Better Call Saul is actually my favorite TV show right now. Game of Thrones is a close second, but as far as like just the story, Better Call Saul is my favorite. In fact, let me just recommend Better Call Saul. Like, I haven't been watching any shows, but that's my recommendation. Hello, Were Giraffe, B-Migs4, and I was about to say Seth Dombach again. Okay, so Serena asked, how was sleeping outside in the sleeping bag during your camping trip? It was great. That sleeping bag, I got it hanging up in my room right now, is so warm, and I wish that I had gotten that much earlier because it would have saved me a lot of trouble. That red one that I used to have, that was great when I first got it, but I talked about it in the review, but I think somebody said it's because I had it stuffed in my bag for too long, or in the stuff sack, which is totally possible. But it got colder and colder to the point where it was almost unusable by the end of it. In cold weather, and warm weather was fine. But this one has been great. I'm trying to keep really good care of it so it'll last a long time. But I think the lowest it got was like in the sub 10s, but it was fine the whole time. And Brian and Andrew, we actually bought 2 more for them. They got the green ones though, but they worked great for them too. Why haven't I been drinking coffee? The ring came off my pudding can. That's from The Simpsons, right? That's definitely a Homer quote. Why haven't I been drinking coffee? I stopped drinking it, I don't remember when it was, maybe like late December or the start of the new year. It was mostly because I was trying this experiment of not eating any processed foods besides foods that I process myself. So cooking is okay. But I was just really experimenting with not having processed foods, which coffee is like, that's pretty close to not processing anyways because you're just cooking it. But the main reason is that the highs of coffee are so high for me, but the lows are just as low. So like when I drink coffee, like my attention is like razor sharp. I can do anything. I have I have infinite motivation. But when I don't drink it, I get terrible headaches if I've been drinking it for a long time. I get terrible headaches, and I'm pretty much non-functional without it. So I was drinking decaf for a while, but even the amount in decaf, if I drink it every day, I can still get caffeine withdrawal headaches. But I actually did have some this past weekend, which you'll see the vlog tomorrow, which, by the way, tomorrow's vlog is going to be really bad. It was Saturday and Sunday combined, and it was really short and pretty much not interesting at all. So that's kind of why I'm streaming today, because I didn't release a vlog today. It's coming out tomorrow, and it's going to be short and pointless. So just don't get your hopes up on that one. Altered Carbon. I don't. Oh, the show-wise. That's the new one on Netflix, right? It was like a new sci-fi show or something. I've heard about that. Strange Quark says he's only gotten through this first season of Better Call Saul. It's an extremely slow burn, and I like it because of that. Like the style of it, it's really just gotta like sit in, and like especially if you have an interest in filmmaking, like the way they do everything, and like the camera angles are very stark, and they really take their time on things. And one thing I really liked about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is that they're not afraid to do strange angles and like just make it unique and more like a film rather than just like very standard. Like, if you ever watched the Rush Hour 2 behind the scenes with Brett Ratner, he's the guy who directed the movie. That guy is like the most by the books director I've ever seen in my life. Like, just so, like, if you read a textbook on how to direct a film, I feel like he would direct it the exact same way. It's a tangent, but anyway, Better Call Saul, you have to be really patient and be in the mood for that style of show. But if you are, it's primo brezets. What are your thoughts on hammock camping? I've actually never slept in a hammock. The reason why I don't hammock camp, or why I'm like I haven't even looked into it, is because this is really weird. This is probably not necessary, but I always feel like I don't want to rely on having to find 2 trees. Like a tent, pretty much if you have ground, which I've never experienced a moment in my life besides being in the ocean where I haven't had ground, you can set up your tent. So like, even if it's not that smooth or not that flat or whatever, you can still set it up. But if you don't have 2 good trees, I feel like you can't set up a hammock. But I think that's like, that fear is unwarranted, because every time we've been camping with Brian, he's never had an instance where he didn't have 2 trees that worked really well. And he says that he's always so comfortable that he doesn't want to get up in the morning because it's that comfortable. So I probably should be less like resistant to it, but at the same time, my tent works really fine. I got a 2-pound tent now. It's light enough that I don't mind it. So it's probably not even much more heavy than a hammock. I don't know how much hammocks weigh, but that's the main reason. It's just that irrational fear of not having a tree to use, you know? Okay, Serena says, I'll still watch your vlog anyway if it's bad. Well, thank you. Sometimes they are bad. Like, sometimes they're just like not, I skipped way ahead. Sometimes they're just not good, and it's like I've already made it, so I just put it out there anyway. But, well, maybe I'll talk more about that later, but just like my thoughts on why I started the vlog and like what I think about it. But anyway, so Lanny Mon, if that's not how you say your name, please let me know. It says, hey mate, how's it going? It's going good. B-Mig said, totes my goats. Man, just bringing all sorts of strange lingo. Abhilash Upadhyay, yes, I didn't upload a vlog today. You're going to get the vlog from this weekend tomorrow. I might start doing that. Like, I don't want to start doing that, but let me rephrase. There will be times where I won't release a vlog, but I'm going to try to coincide them with times where I'm going to be streaming. So like today, there was no vlog, but I'm streaming, so that's just a thought I had. I'd rather just release a vlog every day, but you know. Oh, it is from the Monorail song, Seth. Don't worry about it. I've been watching Money Heist, which is great if you don't mind Spanish shows with subtitles. I don't mind subtitles at all, so it sounds kind of cool. Did the new jacket work out during the camping? Yes, it did. It was fantastic. I can't believe how good it was. So this jacket, I believe it was $250, which is a lot of money. And especially considering if I had waited just a little bit longer. Apparently, sales are like when winter coats go on sale like right about this time because winter's just about to end. Well, soonish. But I kind of wish I could have waited. But now that I have this jacket, it's so nice to just be able to go outside and not be freezing cold all the time. I had forgotten what it was like to have a real winter jacket. I used to have a down jacket. I don't know what I did with it. I probably gave it away because I have given away or gotten rid of so much of my stuff. And it was really ugly, so I was like, I don't want to have this anymore. But I wish I hadn't done that because it was fantastic. But yeah, the new one's great. Real question, have you ever watched Ze Frank videos? Yes, I have, and I do really enjoy them. Those are fantastic. He apparently was like one of the very first talking to the camera vlogger, like philosophical type of dudes. But there was a period of time, like maybe a year or two ago, where I like watched a ton of his videos over the course of like a week or two. And then since he's not uploading anything anymore, I haven't thought about him in a long time. But I think he's like the head of BuzzFeed now. I don't know if that's actually true or not. But yeah, Ze Frank is great. I think that's how you say it. Or maybe it's Z Frank. What's your favorite? Oh, is that the right one? So Carmine asked, do you think you'll ever through hike the AT? That's a possibility, but not for filming. If I ever do it, it'd probably be like, I don't want to say like later in life, but like not this current period of my life because I would need more time. And that's like 3 months where you're just hiking. I would like to do it, but more realistically, especially like in the current near future, would be a portion of the AT, not the whole thing. But the thing I was always worried the most about, or the thing I'm worried the most about, is food. But lately, I've been thinking that fear is probably unfounded too. It's just that I'm always eating too much when I go camping. Like, you don't need to eat as much. But it is 3 months. So at that point, it's not really camping anymore. It's not like you could just eat less for 3 days and then come back home and eat a normal amount. You still need to have like 2,000 calories every day, which I don't even know how do you pack that much calories? I guess nuts and stuff. But anyway, at some point, that's very possible. What's your favorite regional U.S. accent? Brooklyn, Boston, Southern Bay Area. Southern. And I say that because it's the only one I do on a regular basis. And you know, Indiana kind of has that. It's like, it's not exactly a Southern accent, but you kind of, you know, talk like this. It's not that extreme, but every now and then a word will come out and I'm like, man, that sounded like really country, for lack of a better word. But I remember one time I came home from Japan, I think it was. And when I got into the airport, or maybe it was the flight to Indianapolis. So like wherever it was Detroit or wherever it happened to be, the next flight to Indianapolis, everybody on the plane, they were talking. And I was like, dude, is that what people from Indiana sound like? Do we all sound like this? I know I don't so much. Like, it'll creep in there every now and then. But sometimes, man, Indiana, we can sound pretty country. Okay. But yeah, Brooklyn, Boston, Bay Area, I can't do any of those accents, so they are less appealing to me. And the Brooklyn accent is so closely associated with like the jerk. Like in media, they're always making the jerk have like a Brooklyn, New York accent, so it's like that's off-putting as well. Well, not that people with those accents necessarily have that, but I've associated that because of all the media, you know. Okay. Sorry. This chat is not even moving that fast. I just ramble on every question. Okay. Z-Links. South Korea and China make the best movies nowadays. 100%. Interesting. I can't say I've seen a South Korean movie or a Chinese movie lately. I know Korean dramas are super huge, but I've actually never seen one of those either. So, I don't know. Thank you, Jason, for the compliment on the music. Strange Quark's favorite movie from a cinematography perspective? That's a good question. See, I have so many favorite movies for so many different reasons, but I haven't really thought about like which one's my favorite, so I can't pull it off the top of my head. But I will say the one that has the most profound impact on me, or had the most profound impact was Kikujiro by Takeshi Kitano. That one is like, I saw it in high school, but it was also just around the time that I started getting interested in filmmaking, so I was thinking about that type of thing. And when I saw that movie, I was so like blown away by how he actually did all of these weird camera angles that were really interesting to look at, but I think it just opened my mind to the possibility that you can do stuff like that. Because so many movies, like traditional Hollywood movies, they don't do any of that type of thing because it's always like so standard. And it's like, if two people are talking, it's over the shoulder here, over the shoulder there. They cut back and forth. They have close up, they have close up, they have medium close up. And they don't do all of these weird things. The weird things are what make it interesting for me. So Kikujiro is the one that like opened my mind to the possibility of that. But cinematography wise, yeah, I can't, man, like nothing is coming to mind except for the new Blade Runner. But that's more like production design. The production design in that movie is unbelievable. How they could just transport you to another world. Fantastic. Oh, I think somebody just mentioned Blade Runner here. Hammocks are worth it for hot weather alone. Oh, curious what you think of some of the fan backlash against Last Jedi. That was Daryl Anderson. That is a good question. The fan backlash, this is like a turning point for me. Like, especially when I was younger. Like, I've gotten less and less, but especially when I was younger, there's this tendency to always want to defend everything to the death. Especially like, I feel like being a fanboy in general and trying to defend the things you like is just a stage that you have to go through. And as you mature, you kind of like leave that behind and you're like, oh, that was silly. When I was a kid, the biggest Nintendo fanboy you can imagine. Like on the bus, we're arguing about like Nintendo versus Sony. Or at first it was Nintendo versus Sega. Then it was Nintendo versus Sony. And then it was like Nintendo versus Sony and versus Microsoft. And then I don't remember when it actually changed. It was probably like late high school. I was like, dude, I want all of these. And I almost didn't even have a PlayStation 1. Oh, actually, it was about the PlayStation 1 probably. So that was middle school. PlayStation 1 was what really turned the tide because Final Fantasy VII was on the PlayStation, which to a Nintendo fanboy, that was like devastating when that happened. But I was like, man, I gotta play Final Fantasy, so I have to have it. We got it for Christmas one year. It was fantastic. But anyways, back to Last Jedi. The fan backlash, I honestly, for one thing, I can't understand it. When I watched that movie, it was so incredible to me that I just couldn't imagine somebody not liking the movie. In fact, if you didn't like the movie, I would love to hear your thoughts because I just don't understand what there is to not like about it. And the only thing I could come up with, and I talked about this on the vlog, was that it wasn't what you wanted. And everybody has like a very specific set of things that you want, especially for like a series as beloved as Star Wars. Everybody has like such an idea of what it is and what they want that when it strays from that, like even Mark Hamill, he talks about his vision of Luke is completely different from the vision that, what is that director's name? Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson's vision of Luke was. And for me, I was just like, I love this. This is something I never thought of. It's so clear what his motivations are and like how he's like his character is developing. Every single character in that movie had an arc. Whether you liked that arc or not, or whether you thought it was particularly well done, at least they had an arc. And like you could tell, like, so I don't want to spoil it, but Finn's arc, he's the one who's complained about the most, but his arc was very clear about what his motivations were at the beginning to what he becomes at the end. And like there's a scene at the end where it's like, man, are they about to do this? But anyways, the fan backlash, this is kind of like a turning point of where I've finally been like, I don't need to justify my liking this or to try and defend it or anything. And not that there's anybody I need to defend it from. Like, it's just the internet. How are you going to, like, combat the internet? But this is the first time where it's like, really bothered me less and less and less, to where now I'm just like, man, that's fine. If you didn't like it, that's totally cool. But it also still does baffle me a little bit, because I liked the movie so much. It was really weird that people hated it. So let me see what people said, because I'm really curious. Okay, yeah, I need to shorten these questions. I keep going on and on. Okay, so Crazy Kev says when Mark Hamill said this isn't Luke, he boycotted it. Okay, well that's one way to do it. I would think that you'd want to see it yourself first and see if it was your Luke, not Mark Hamill's. Okay, so Where Giraffe says there's zero real character development. It's like they had specific scenes they wanted and then fit a story in between it. And too much political correctness. One of every race isn't less racist, it's more. And they raise issue like child slavery and the effect of the rich, but then don't flesh it out. Let's just save a bunch of animals and let the kids stay enslaved. Okay, well, the political correctness thing, I think that's more of a you thing than the movie thing. If a movie has different races in it, like, what does that have to do with anything? Why is that a political statement? Like, if a movie has all white people, that's not a racist movie because it has all white people. If it has one of each race, why is that politically... I don't really get the argument there. But the issue of them, the zero real character development, I don't really understand that one either, because they all have very clear arcs. I can't get into it without spoiling it. So we should probably move on from Last Jedi anyway. But the character development, whether it's done well or not, like, that's totally up to interpretation. But I could tell you that, at least to me, each character had a very clear, this is where they started at, this is where they ended at. And that's the one I really don't get either. But okay, well, that explains that one too. Okay, but yeah, sorry. I'm going to keep these questions a little bit shorter, or the answers a little bit shorter. And we'll also move on from Last Jedi, because I feel like I've talked about it for like 10 minutes now. Okay. I need to do a spoiler cast. We were going to do that with Brian and Andrew, but I forgot to do it. Favorite documentary from a videography perspective? I can't remember enough documentaries to know off the top of my head. But the most recent one I saw was like Treasures of the Deep or something. It's like a fake documentary. That's done really well. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I do recommend the Jim Carrey documentary. Jim Carrey is like one of my favorite actors growing up, and he is a weird dude. And that documentary, like, I like how weird he is. Okay, so yeah, Seth Dombeck said, I think Denis Villeneuve will go down as one of the best directors of this time. Enemy, Arrival, Blade Runner, Sicario are all wonderful films. I've not seen any other ones except for Blade Runner, but Blade Runner was incredible. Okay, Rob Rowland. What's up, Rob? He says, the worst work you do is the work you don't publish. Keep pumping it out and the quality follows. That's your dig on Practice Right. Keep it coming. Yeah, that's true. So I think in the end, just release it anyway, even if it sucks. That's kind of been my motto. Okay, why is Thomas the only one who wears head cup and glasses on the trip? I think you mean, I'm assuming you mean a hat and glasses on the trips? Well, Thomas doesn't wear glasses. He wears sunglasses sometimes, and he wears a hat because he always wears a hat. I don't know why he always wears a hat. I wore a hat on Mount Whitney because of the amount of sun. I actually borrowed that circular hat from Thomas. I got sunburned really bad in Yellowstone, and ever since then I've played less and less with the sun. Like, you don't want to play with the sun, man. Okay. But yeah, I don't have an answer. I don't know why he wears a hat and sunglasses. Have you ever considered submitting one of your films to a film festival? Yes, just nobody has taken the initiative to actually do that. But that's probably something we should work on. And also, I kind of feel like, well, maybe this is just selling it short a little bit, but I don't know. What I wanted to say was that you kind of have to have some background of knowing what the show is supposed to be. But I guess like Mount Whitney, you don't really need to know anything ahead of time. You could just show that. Okay, Continental Divide Trail. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up sometime, but I'm assuming it's just like the Appalachian Trail. Those long trails, yeah, I don't know. I would like to do them at some point, but I don't know if I'll be doing it anytime soon, like a portion. When is the AA After Dark live stream segment happening? I don't know. That's a good idea, though. What is that white dot behind you on the wall? That is for the door. When you open it, it keeps it from hitting the wall, the door handle. Hopefully you guys could hear that. I read What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami recently, and it was amazing. I've read that. Actually, I did the audiobook version, so I technically haven't read it. I listened to it. Since you love running and is also familiar with Japanese... Oh, he's just recommending. Okay, I've actually read it before, but yeah, it was good. He's such a great writer, dude. Like, the way he uses words in such like a unique way. And it's also interesting because he speaks English, so those English translations are very accurate to his vision from what I've heard. Like, he works closely with the translators, and there's only like 2 of them that he works with or something. Will you and your mom have another video? Yes. We have been like alternating. One of us has been sick, the other person's been sick, so like those times where we're just like both not doing anything and could do a video like that have not really come up recently. Favorite food? Pizza, without a doubt. Favorite topping on pizza is pepperoni. Well, cereal is also my favorite food. Every type of cereal. I love sweet cereals. Haven't eaten that in like multiple years, but if I could subsist on any type of food, it would be either cereal, bread, or pizza, or all 3 of those. That would be all I would eat, if that was possible. Okay, Mr. Greeley says, have you ever considered the Caldera Cone by Trail Designs, my favorite backpacking cook system? I've never heard of that, but I will look it up because I'm always looking for a better cook system than what I have. Not always, but I have been looking for that. Oh, have you ever thought about bringing a camera crew with you on the trip? No, and the main reason is I don't trust a camera crew to do it the way that I like it. It's kind of the same way with outsourcing editing or music. I don't want to like tell somebody how to do it. Well, partially too because I enjoy the process. And the feeling and atmosphere you get from the show is because it's just me, Brian, and Andrew, and sometimes Thomas too, out there in like you kind of need that solitude and small groupness to like get the feel that we want to get. And yeah, I just don't want to outsource the part that I enjoy so much. So, well, filming is the part that I actually enjoy the least, but in the sense that it's the hardest to do, like especially when it's cold and you have to like fiddle with that tripod. This new tripod's been great though, much lighter. Okay, how often do you play b-ball? Almost never now. Like, I got a membership to the gym recently, and I knew every time you get a membership to the gym, it's wasted. You'll go the first month, and then the next 2 months, you won't go. No matter how pumped or jazzed you are about it at the beginning, it never lasts. So I almost never play basketball anymore. It was really fun when I was playing for that month in, like, November or December, but it's not as easy and cheap as it used to be. Like when I was growing up and like when I was in college, pickup game, any time of the day. Well, not so much in high school. High school, you had to go to the local JCC and my parents paid for it, so it was cheap for me. But in college, at least, you could go play basketball any time of the day and it was just included with your tuition. So it's like, why wouldn't you play basketball every day? Now it's like you have to go at a certain time, you have to pay for the gym membership, and you have to like be free, and I don't know. Best graphics, directing, acting, storylines. He's talking about The Spy Undercover, which is a epic movie from South Korea. So many endless epic movies from South Korea. I'll check that out. There was a period of time where I watched a ton of Japanese movies, but has been so long since I've done that. It was like college, which is crazy, man. I've been out of college for 11 years. Like, I've almost been out of college longer than I've been in school, than I was in school. I was in school for 16 years. Well, it's a little ways to go, but. Oh, so Serena says, have you thought about taking a small music instrument for camping trips, like a recorder or something? That would be cool, actually. I think it'd be really fun to have like music and dance at the campfire. We've never actually done that before, because usually by the time we finish filming all of our cooking and stuff, the night is already like it's already like midnight, so we got to go to sleep. But what was I about to say? Oh, I was about to say that we are very strongly considering making our next trip a non-filming trip, just so that we remember what it's like to actually camp without having to like think, to where you have to like actually do something and then like, oh, are we getting enough shots, blah blah blah, and just go camping again. That experience, I haven't had that in so long, but that is like literally the thing that drew me to camping in the first place. Well, there's many things, but that was one of the big ones. Is just like you go out there and then your purpose is just like being out there. There's no purposelessness. James Blackburn says, have you ever been to Santa Claus, Indiana? I probably have. Isn't that? Yes, I probably have. I'm thinking that that's not where Safari, Splash and Beach and Safari. If you're from Indiana, you know what I'm talking about. But I think maybe that's where that is. Or maybe that's where the Covered Bridge Festival is. I can't remember. But I might have been there before. Clearly, it left a lasting impression. Mike Tron says, greetings and salutations, my brother. Greetings. Lanny Mon says he's head off to work. See you later. Okay, let's go on here. Oh, man. It's so hard to keep up with this. Crazy Kev says, if I went to see the movie and then they got my money, I'll watch it on Netflix. Yeah, they certainly don't need any more money. That is true. Last Grown Up in the Woods says, I even like Jar Jar Binks, so of course I love The Last Jedi. You know, the other thing to understand is that kids just don't care nearly as much. Like, people hate the Ewoks. Let me tell you something. As somebody who grew up, like, literally, I was saying Star Wars things before I could talk properly. There's a legendary thing where my aunt was saying something about Luke, and I was like 2 years old, and then she said Luke, and I apparently I was like, it's not Wook, it's Wook. And the Ewoks, I love the Ewoks, man. The Ewoks were the greatest thing ever. I was like, man, they look like little teddy bears. I got a teddy bear that looks just like it. So for me, the Ewoks are fantastic, but like to people who grew up watching it a little bit older, the Ewoks were like Jar Jar Binks. So I saw the Phantom Menace. That was the first one, yeah. Phantom Menace. I saw that in 1999, which is like my freshman year of high school. Even then, I thought Jar Jar Binks was a little bit stupid, but I loved the movie. Like when it came out, I saw it multiple times and I was just like blown away by everything. In retrospect, it's a terrible movie, like especially like just from a construction and like good storytelling perspective. So I don't know why I said so, but I guess my point is that the movies really are kind of made for kids. So like all the silly, stupid stuff that you just don't like the big one from The Last Jedi was when they're like riding on the things and it's like very Disney and like the kids saying, go, go, go. Yeah, that's not my favorite stuff, but it's also like, you got to take what you like about it. And then if there's not enough of that, you just got to let it go. Got another Star Wars tangent. Sorry. Jay Miller says, are there any trails that in your area that you're still looking to do? Not in particular. Like, well, actually, no, there is one. There's one, I always forget what it's called. It's a metro park in like just outside of Dayton, I think. And can't remember what it's called. But there's some like supposed amazing metro park. And it's like people, apparently my buddy Chris told me that people come from like Europe and to just backpack in this metro park, and it's supposed to be amazing. Never been to it, but would like to go at some time. I didn't like Rose. I liked the movie. I didn't like Rose at the ending. Seemed too convenient and didn't make sense. Otherwise, the movie was great. I don't remember specifically what happened with her. Unless you're talking about what I think you're talking about, then yeah. And I also don't like man, there's too many spoilers. We got to do a spoiler cast on that sometime. How's that water filter? I'm debating getting one. Also, why don't you answer questions live instead of chronologically? # triggered. So what he's referring to is like last week we were arguing about how that questions should be answered. The reason why I want to do questions chronologically, we came up with a new system actually, but I'll talk about that in a second. The reason why I want to do them chronologically is because I don't like when we're just all staring at the chat looking for a question to answer. It's like if you just take the questions as they come, you can answer them, discuss, and you kind of ramble like I do and go too long on one question. But that's why I wanted to do it chronologically. But the new system we came up with is one person will curate the questions, ask them, and then we'll switch around so that the one person who's curating the questions doesn't have to just read the chat the whole time. But that way we're not staring at the chat. The water filter, the Berkey water filter, I can't recommend it highly enough. Something was wrong with the fluoride filters that we had on there, and they always taste a little bit weird, but once we took those off, the water is like perfect, and I highly recommend it. RAW or JPEG? JPEG for time lapses, RAW for any other still stuff, because it's so much easier to just, there's probably a way to do it, but whenever I pull a RAW into Photoshop, it gives you all of the options to adjust it right there, and I can do that. But when you pull a JPEG in, you have to like add an adjustment layer to do it. But JPEGs for time lapses because you don't want to have to process them, and you can't really tell the difference anyway. Have you ever hiked at Spring Mill State Park near Mitchell, Indiana? No. I should write that down. Have you seen Derek with Ricky Gervais? No, I haven't. Is that a TV show? I would like to know what that is. Alex Tessman, glad he could catch the stream again. Would you and Adventure Archives considering doing a through hike series of a longer trail, maybe as a stretch goal on Patreon? Never a through hike, but a portion has definitely been considered. Just at some point. Weird Giraffe says, not to say I didn't enjoy the movie when I watched it. If I don't think about it, then it's fine. But when I try to break it down, I don't really care about any of the characters. You know, that's how my brother felt about The Force Awakens. Like, the more he thought about it, the more, like, the plot holes kind of, like, broke the illusion for him. And that is, like, totally understandable. Because the plot holes in Force Awakens are, like, really kind of big, and they're kind of annoying when you really think about them. But those type of things, for whatever reason, my threshold for that type of stuff is really high. Actually, I should say this just about media in general. The specifics don't matter to me so much. It's so much more about how it makes me feel. If the movie, music, game, TV show makes me feel what I want to feel, I don't care about the construction of it. I mean, I do, but it's such a strange thing. But in general, the emotion and the way it makes me feel is so much more important. And like Star Wars, whether it's the nostalgia, whether it's just this is very tuned to what I want, Star Wars hits those notes for me in so many ways. Like, I can forgive like crappy plot holes, I can forgive bad acting, I can forgive this, I can forgive that. If it's got like all these other things, like when the Millennium Falcon goes in that little trench and it's like got all the red crystals, and then it plays that music from Return of the Jedi, it's like dun dun bum bum, or maybe that's the first movie. I don't know. They play that song all the time, but oh my God, I almost like got up and started cheering in the theater. Like, I had a grin on my face so big, I was just like, yeah, come on. That's what matters to me in a movie. And like, people hated. I'm sorry, I really like Star Wars. That's why I keep talking about it. But Canto Bight, when they go into Canto Bight, my brother was like, when we first talked about the movie after we had both seen it, he's like, yeah, I didn't like Canto Bight at all. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Canto Bight, when they first get in there and then the doors open and then the new, like that, it was the new cantina, was a casino. And I was like, of course, a casino. You don't have to do the cantina again. You can make a casino. And the music's playing and they're like, oh, and it sounds like a cantina song. Oh my God, I loved it so much. So those are the things I really care about. Like, I don't care so much about like, I do care about character development and stuff too, but like the actual like tightly written, like if you want tightly written good character development and like you're very like a stickler for plot holes and all that stuff, watch Better Call Saul. That is like a woven story that is unbreakable. But anyways, sorry. another tangent about Star Wars. Any plans or dreams of a trip to Canada? I mean, I've been to Canada multiple times. Those have been on the vlog. You can check those out. In fact, November 2016, right? 2015? November 2015 or 16, I went to Canada. And I went there again for the vlog. But I got two buddies there, Bill and Wyatt, and I met them because they interviewed us for their podcast at some point. But yeah, as far as going, and we went to Algonquin, obviously. But Canada's great, dude. I love Canada. You guys thought of a Colorado trip? Okay, so yeah, just in general, like we've addressed this before, but for those of you new, the asking questions about where we're going or like, are we going there or have you thought about it? Unless you hit the jackpot and actually think of like the one or two places I really want to go, which just off the top of my head are Norway and just Norway off the top of my head. But all those places love to go, but the no plans. Oh my God, I answer these questions way too long. Okay. Oh, Tim V, he just wanted me to open the door. Yeah, that poster's awesome, dude. Thank you. What's your favorite backpacking dinner? You guys have some pretty elaborate meals. Anything stand out as a favorite? I am like super, super simple. I bring the same things every time, or like I don't really bring the same things every time, but like the last two trips I just made sandwiches ahead of time and then I just ate sandwiches. For me, I'm like, Andrew is the one who really wants to go all out on cooking and elaborate stuff, and which is great because I'm so uncreative in that way and I'm not like a good cook. So I would never even think to do those things. I have to like force myself to think of those for the episode, but he just naturally does that. But lately, just as like a nice warm food that is really easy to cook, cup noodles are so awesome, dude. They taste, I mean, they're terrible for you, but they taste so good and they're always warm and they're so easy to cook. You just heat that water up, put it in there, boom, you're eating in like 3 minutes. Cup noodles, man. Will you talk politics on this channel? No. Only to a certain extent because like, I know that a lot of you who watch have very different political views than me, and I don't want to argue and debate with people about it. You know, it's like you have your opinions, I have mine. In the end of the day, like how much control do we actually have over that type of thing? I don't know. But I want to pretty badly sometimes, like especially like lately. I mean, some of you can imagine that I really want to talk about it, but it's just like so much of it now especially just makes no sense to me. Like I can't even believe that it's real. Like some of the things that some politicians say, I can't even believe that it's real that they said it, and then that it's real that people support what they said. It's just like so mind-boggling to me that I'm like, I'm not even going to engage with this. And the way that I kind of look at it is that I like to give more general, and it's kind of a weird thing, but I try to give much more selfish advice, and not selfish in the sense that to help me. I give advice, or like not even advice. I like to give my thoughts on things that you can control in yourself. So like rather than talk about like how to fix the world, I'm like, let's talk about how we fix ourselves. So let's just focus on the one person and then say like, I'm talking about that type of stuff all the time. Like, how do you get to bed earlier? How do you do things consistently? How do you set goals and then fulfill your goals? You know what I mean? So that's the way I've been looking at it. Like, okay, well, instead of talking about politics, even though I would like to talk about it, I'm also not actively involved in politics. So it's kind of just shouting into the air, and it doesn't really help anybody, because am I really going to convince you of my views? And are you going to convince me of your views? Probably not. But anyways, long story short, no. Okay, I really got to stop at 8. So I'm going to be really fast and really concise because I got to eat really soon. I'm really hungry. Okay, have you ever stepped into the realm of more traditional short films, like with screenplays and actors, or do you stick mostly to vlogs and adventure archives? I've never done any of that stuff. The main reason is that, kind of like what I was just talking about, documentary style is so much more in my control, which is a weird thing because it's like really out of control. But you can get something amazing that you didn't expect to get. You kind of just like pick and choose, like, I'm gonna film this, I'm gonna film this, I'm gonna film this, and you practice your craft of filming it in the moment as best you can, it's much more exciting and live to me. Doing canned fiction stuff, I'm gonna leave that to the people who are good at it and enjoy it, because man, they do a fantastic job. Like Better Call Saul, I couldn't even dream of writing something that good, getting actors who are that good at it, and then combining it into this amazing thing that they do. I feel like my talents are much more suited towards documentary, and it's also because it's what I'm really interested in. It's just I love like the aliveness of it. I love how like in the moment it is and how snappy it is, you know? What's your current base weight minus camera equipment? It's heavy, man. It's like 20 to 25 pounds or something. It depends on what you count as base weight, but without camera equipment, even with camera equipment, the camera equipment doesn't add as much as you might think, because we're usually holding the cameras, but my pack's always hovering around 30 pounds. So it's always quite heavy. Favorite memory in the outdoors? Oh, man. Just off the top of my head, one of my favorite memories is on North Manitou Island. We were just waiting for the boat to come pick us up, and we were out in that big open field at the very beginning, and we're just like hanging out there, and then the wind is like blowing. Perfect sunny sky. It was just like, it felt like returning from another world, like when we got off that boat, but just like, it was like our last moments in like paradise. It's fantastic, dude. Ardio says, why do you love the SNES so much, the Super Nintendo? I don't know. I think it just came at the exact right time to where it was sophisticated enough to where you could actually get like story and kind of like more depth to the gameplay. And the music, maybe the music is like the biggest reason. I love that style of music. It just suits my taste. Like somehow my brain grooves are just like tuned to that. But I love it, dude. And I love the games, like the RPGs on there, like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and Secret of Mana. Those are seminal games that kind of shaped what I like in media. And Adventure Archives is really, I've talked about this before, but kind of my attempt to recapture that feeling in a piece of media that I create. Because I don't know if I could ever I probably could if I like really dedicated myself to it. But make a game like those JRPGs. But the feeling of adventure and mystery, and it was just like the right time at the right place, I think. Oh, the Porgs were great. I thought the Porgs from Last Jedi were awesome. Like, they were hilarious, dude. And they had so many good moments. If it wasn't Star Wars, would you judge a movie that way? Take what you like and ignore the rest. Yes. In general, well, see, I was going to say I was much less forgiving to other movies, so I'll like, because I won't even watch movies that I'm not interested in. Like, if it doesn't even seem like it's going to have what I want. But yeah, it's true, man. Star Wars, like, it's obvious that I'm biased towards Star Wars. Like, there's no separating my nostalgia and, like, feelings towards it to look at it objectively, if you can't even look at a movie objectively. So it's like, also, in the end, asking my opinion on Star Wars is like, you got to know where I'm coming from to think whether my opinion is valid or not. So, like, especially for, like, your own, like, tastes, like, if you don't like Star Wars, don't come to me asking if the new one's good, because it's not going to be helpful to you at all. MJ or LeBron? LeBron. MJ is amazing, and, like, he did so many amazing things, but LeBron is almost, like, not human. The guy is... Could you design a robot? Like, that's the only way you could get a better basketball player, as far as I'm concerned. Is you have to design a robot who is like 8 feet tall, who could do all the things LeBron could do, only is 2 feet taller than him. So yeah, LeBron without a doubt. I do remember the movie Last Dragon with Bruce Leroy, who fights a guy named Sho'nuff. I don't know if I've ever seen the whole movie though. Any plans to upgrade cameras this year? Sadly, yes, because when the A7S III comes out this year, I'm probably going to replace that camera. But I will say, though, if it does not have a front flipping screen, I will hold off for a while, because this is actually working really well. The new gimbal has like a little thing that we can plug in, which solves the battery problem. And when we're using the gimbal, it's not like I need a front flipping screen anyway. But a better autofocus would be huge. Like if they do the autofocus that they've been doing on like the A6500 for the A7S III, it very well could happen. Eat It's 26 says the reason you like to answer questions chronologically is because you like to take your time and answer it. This is true. Amy Jimenez says he really enjoyed the live stream last week and we should do it more. We will definitely do it more. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What frame rate do you use? Right now, this is 30 frames per second because YouTube doesn't do streaming 24 frames per second. I would do 60, but my capture card only does 30. When I film the vlogs in Adventure Archives, that's 24 frames per second. Although, if you go to the Dolly Sods Winter episode or anything earlier than that, those were all in 30 frames per second. And that was, we would have done 24 from the outset, but Andrew was pretty adamant, or he wasn't adamant, but he thought that 30 frames per second would be better. And I was like, he might be right. Because it does give it a little bit more of a liveness to it. But in the end, after we switched to 24, we were like, we definitely prefer 24. So, did you ever decide on using a 5-person tent or not? I don't remember talking about a 5-person tent. But that would be interesting. Maybe we talked about it in relation to just one person bringing a 5-person tent. That would be interesting. We haven't thought about that at all, though. How's Nicole, by the way? So Nicole is Brian's friend, so I have no communication with her outside of Brian. But I actually was just curious about that myself the other day, and I asked Brian, and he said that she is maybe going to school or something now. But I think she's good. Nostophical. Was that Nostophical? Hold on. How far back did I get? Okay, no, didn't get that. Oh, it is Nostophical. Hello, welcome. He doesn't have a question, though. Good to see you. I haven't heard from you in a while. What's your preferred method for playing FF8? I haven't played it enough times to really have a preferred method. Whenever I play those games again, it's always just like I jump in and I experience the nostalgia. And sometimes I'll actually go all the way to the end, which Final Fantasy VIII, interestingly enough, I did get to actually beat it last year. So that was like the second time I've ever finished it. And but my general thing is when I play those old games, I'll jump in for a little bit, and then I just talked about this on the vlog. It's such a weird thing. I'll jump in for a little bit, and then I may or may not finish it, but I usually just like jump in, experience it. I'm like, I love this game. So I guess just jumping in and out, that's all I do. Jason G says, was the Cannibal Candy Witch in Allegheny the creepiest thing to happen to you while backpacking? Yes, without a doubt. The main thing is that we were off trail. It was like some old logging road or something. So it's like, if that was on a regular trail, it'd be like, of course that was just somebody doing some sticks or whatever. But it just looked so weird, and it was dark, and we weren't on a regular trail. Got creeped out. It's probably nothing, but it was creepy. Have you guys ever caught fish and had it for dinner while camping? No. That would be so fun, though. So when are your plans to go to Norway? I don't know, because I don't really have much money right now. So spending money on plane tickets isn't very high on my priority list. But if we did that for Adventure Archives, then maybe we could do that sometime. But I've heard that tickets to Iceland are super cheap. Thomas keeps telling us that it's cheaper for him to fly to Iceland from California than it is to fly back to Ohio. So Iceland is a possibility, but this year, I imagine we want to do an international trip at some point, but we don't have anything planned, so I don't know, maybe this year or maybe next year. Racer Dog says, do you have any interest in doing a solo overnight camp somewhere nearby where you live? I do. I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. Not a lot, but a fair amount. And I just haven't decided on where I would go. Maybe Morgan Monroe or something. That would be really fun. But, actually, no, what I was thinking is I want to go to Dolly Sods by myself, because I just love that place so much, and I don't want to keep dragging the same people back there, if they don't want to go. I mean, I'm sure Brian and Andrew Thomas would all be down to go. Should bring Thomas there. Thomas hasn't been there yet. But I would just love to go there for my own, feeling and, enjoyment. Enjoyment, that's the word I was looking for. For my own enjoyment to go to Dolly Side would be awesome. How was it being an outside magazine? Was it good for publicity? Did you see a spike in views after that month's publication? It was great being in the magazine, just in the sense of like, that's really cool. But as far as publicity or a spike in views, no, nothing. We got 1 or 2 people who commented and said they found us in the magazine, but there was no spike. The only spike that occurred was when the algorithm suddenly decided to start showing our Japan video. I was watching the H3 podcast the other day, and they were talking about, is it still possible to be successful on YouTube? And I don't remember what their conclusion was, but they did say it's really kind of just like, you can play the game of like trying to do the right thumbnail, right title, find a viral video, all this stuff. But really at the end of the day, if the algorithm does not favor you, then you are not going to be successful. Because we were doing like 300 to 400 subscribers a day when that algorithm was favoring us. And it was just like, it was a spike like this. It was like, here's our subscribers, boom. It's like this, and then just dropped and went back to that. And it's like, it's really kind of frustrating because but it's the problem with anything. No matter what it is, you're always gonna have some problem. Just like, and the problem on YouTube is discovery. It's the same problem that Steam has, actually, or like the iOS App Store, is discovery. How do you get discovered? The App Store is actually making it easier because you can buy ad placement where your app will get featured first in searches. But YouTube doesn't really have anything like that. And that's not the way people watch YouTube videos. They don't click on ads to watch a video. So where was I going with this? Yeah, that was a tangent. So anyways, no, we did not see a spike. Do you have any favorite artists or painters or manga anime series whose work you connect with? Shiro Masamune. That's not his, it's like Masamune Shiro. But he does some of the most amazing artwork. A lot of his stuff's like X-rated nowadays, but in the past, he was doing stuff like Ghost in the Shell and just like amazing artwork in such detail. He's a big one. I love Akira Toriyama's art style. Like, it's so iconic. Like, how could you not love it? The Nausicaa series by Hayao Miyazaki, that was amazing. And then, of course, there's Katsuhiro Otome, who did, I think that's his name. He did Akira. So that artwork's incredible. But actually, there's none wait. Makoto Shinkai, I would say that he is one of the first people that, when I saw his stuff, it was just like, wow, that's unique and different, even in anime. His stuff really connected with me. John Benter says, we're living in the onion. That's a good way of putting it. That's the only way to fix the world. Where Giraffe says, that's the only way to fix the world, 1% at a time. Individuals are smart, but people are dumb. See, yeah, I agree. And I think the reason I don't know if people are dumb. But yeah, I totally see what you're saying. But the reason why I don't like try to convince people of things, and politically especially on the vlog, is because this is not a one-to-one interaction. Like, one-to-one interaction is like when I'm actually talking to you in real life. So I just try to do, I'm gonna try to do a lot of things, but I just feel like it's not helpful to try and tell people my political views on the vlog. So Serena Davis says, if I wanted politics, I would know where to go. That's another good point. Adam Jackson says, I know you're a huge gear nerd when it comes to electronics. Do you think that will ever carry over to hiking gear? I'm a huge hiking gear nerd. It's expensive. You know, it's very possible it could, and I'm just like thanking my lucky stars that it's not, because I know that if I ever got into that hole, it would just be like the same hole as the camera equipment, where you just fall down and just, you literally like, audio equipment sometimes happens with that for me. If I'm not careful, I'll start like looking at headphones online. I will buy like a pair of headphones, and then I will start looking at headphones online instead of using the headphones I just bought. It's a sickness, man. I'm telling you. You got to get that stuff under control. Not that I have it under control at all. Where Giraffe says, it's funny that you study cinema. Oh man, we're approaching 8 o'clock. Okay, so I'm gonna get through. I'm just gonna do questions. Here we go. Thank you everybody for watching, by the way. I really appreciate it. If you guys have ideas for how I can make these streams better rather than me just rambling. Maybe this is good though. I don't know. Maybe this is just exactly what it should be, but just in case, I'm always open to feedback on the streams, so let me know. Okay, what's the next full video we can expect? That is going to be Hoosier National Forest, and then the one after that is going to be, I don't think we've announced it, but it's Seneca Creek, which was in Monongahela National Forest. And that the Seneca Creek one's a snow episode. It's going to be awesome. I don't know if it's actually going to be good, but the trip itself was awesome. Ying Van says, give me an AA episode to watch tonight and a little known secret behind it. Okay, this is a good one. Sleeping Bear and Manitou. Those were both, my girlfriend at the time went with us on that trip. So if you look at some of the shots in there, there's a person holding the camera. And you can actually see her like in some of the shots, like off in the distance. But we just didn't put her in because she was like, oh, I don't want to be in it. But there's your secret for 2 episodes, actually. Tim Dungan, not Tim Duncan, says, how's the jumper? My jumper is terrible. The last time I played a full court game, it was just like I would do some nasty move or I'd do something really athletic and then I'd go up to shoot and I'd airball it. It's terrible. Have you ever played Grandia or Star Ocean? I played Grandia 2. Grandia 2 was awesome, man. I played a bootleg copy on Dreamcast. I always wanted to get the actual disc to have that for my collection, but Grandia 2 is amazing. I started Grandia and Star Ocean at some point, but never finished. Green Bam says, you and your mom have done so much construction, but stopped at the patches of paint on the wall. You know, the thing is we don't own this house, so that's a really good question. I don't know why. A lot of this painting stuff, like especially at the ceiling, it wasn't supposed to be that way. I don't have a good answer for that, actually, other than that it'd be a pain to paint it, but that is a really good point. Okay. John Bender said I had to stop the stream several times, and every time I come back and talk about Star Wars. I got a sickness, man. Eating pepperoni pizza. Oh, man, I'm jealous. Envious, I should say. Do you guys know that envious and jealous are different words, and they have different meanings? Jealous is when you're, like, afraid of losing something to somebody else, and envious is where you just want something that somebody else has, but nobody uses it that way. Serious question, will you poop in your tent again? Yeah, I mean, if I have a wag bag and it's cold outside, you better believe I'm pooping in that tent. But I've only ever had a wag bag once, so. Emin Stewart says, hey, Robbie, first time catching the stream. Absolutely love what you guys do. Can't wait for the LA meetup. That's happening. Hope to see you there. Do you think there's a chance to stream your epic video gameplay? Streaming on Twitch is actually something I've thought about recently, in the sense that, oh, you can do them simultaneously. Oh. See, I would stream more games on this channel. I just don't want to overload your timeline with gaming streams. Not that I would even do it that often, but yeah, I guess that'd be fine. I could just do non-subscriber. I'll probably stick to YouTube just because I want to collate my audience into one realm. But if you can tell me the reason why you would prefer me to stream on Twitch, I could totally do it there too. But yeah, I should start streaming more video games. That'd be fun. Have you ever been doing online dating? Yes, I have done online dating before. I haven't done it in a long time, but I also have done speed dating before. I did a lot of that before while I was in New York. All of those are quite interesting. Like the different people you can meet and the way it goes. Like, it's actually quite, I should probably do that. It's pretty fun. But just lately, like, I've kind of been harping on this. Maybe I haven't. Maybe it's just I've been saying it in my head. But my life right now is very selfish. It's very me. Let's improve me. I don't want anybody else complicating it. Which is not the best way to live forever, so I don't recommend that to do it forever, but that's at least what I'm doing right now. So yeah, sorry if I'm not answering your comments. I'm just trying to look for questions so we can end in the next 5 minutes. Okay, what is your vision for this YouTube channel? I don't have a vision. I just like making videos every single day, and I'm gonna keep making them. Although I have been thinking about doing a Patreon, and if I do a Patreon for this channel, I want to emphasize this, and I will emphasize it at the time. Do not donate if you're already donating to Adventure Archives, and do not donate more than like $1 because nothing is going to change. It's going to be the exact same vlog. It's just going to be so that I can pay my rent, and that's it. So but as far as like the channel itself, I just like making daily videos, man. Like I just like making videos, period. So it's like long as I can keep doing that, I'm gonna keep doing it. Do you plan on going back to Japan? I'm a new subscriber, love to watch. So that's Mark Havener. Thank you, first of all. But yes, I do plan on going back to Japan. I don't know when. Like I said earlier, I don't really have that much money right now, so buying plane tickets isn't on the top of my mind. But the Secret of Mana remake, I got the collector's edition. I had Michael order it for me. So it's just sitting at his house right now. So I do need to go there sometime to pick it up. Bill Dungy, welcome. Welcome, you Canadian person. Okay. Yeah, Bill, if you're still watching, dude, can you please give us the rest of the Devil's Bench podcast, the Benchcast episodes? Like, so, well, I'm not going to out your news, but can you please upload those? Like, I've been waiting for a while. And we all know that Wyatt is incapable of figuring out how to upload that. Would you include a picture of a dangling corpse behind you in your thumbnail for clicks? Oh, dangling corpse. No. Like, doing like, my channel's so small, if I do clickbait and stuff, it just makes you guys mad. It doesn't get me new subscribers. So I learned that very early on in the vlog. Ever thought of growing your own fruit and veg? I haven't given it serious thought, but my mom actually does have a garden in the backyard that she used to use more often, but she hasn't done it in a while. Which Ninja Turtle would each of you be? Oh, that was so easy. So Thomas is Michelangelo. I'm Raphael, although also Michelangelo, but I have the brooding elements of and the mean elements of Raphael. Andrew has got a lot of Leonardo, actually. And then Brian would be Donatello. Although I got some Leonardo in there too, but just like, it's weird because like Raph is like definitely, he was my favorite character, but I always consider myself a Raph, just, although less so now, just like I'm not as brooding as I used to be. Okay. So when's Thomas going to be added to the Adventure Archives thumbnail? I totally forgot that he wasn't. We'll get on that because we got him in the intro now, at least. Okay, so at least 3 people like the rambling. So thank you. I'm glad you like that. So yeah, playing live games on Twitch. Yeah, I have thought about it. Brian here. Rob asked if people would like to see video game streams. Would you like to see video game streams? I think people would, so we should definitely do those. We should do some Monster Hunter streams because I could stream it from here, and then me and Brian could go on quests together. Brian is like my Monster Hunter. What's the word? I was gonna say sensei, but there's a word in English for it. Guru, maybe? I don't know. That's not even. Is that an English word? I don't even know. Okay. Okay, so everybody would like to see game streams. We could definitely do that. Your audience could grow bigger on Twitch. That's a good point because people could actually discover it by the game that I'm playing. Twitch, okay. You're convincing me to go to Twitch. William McCain, thank you for the $2 Canadian. How are you doing? I totally forgot I had Super Chat on this. I'm doing very good. Getting a little hungry. Man, okay, so I'm going to end this precisely at 8:15. We're going to set an alarm. Set an alarm for 8:15 p.m.
The alarm's set for 8:15 p.m.
Okay, so we're going to end it at 8:15 come hell or high water. Okay, are you into cryptos? No, because for one thing, they're preventing me from getting a 1080 graphics card, which I've been wanting to get for a while. But that's probably good because I don't want to spend the money on that. But it's just like anything else, man. It looks so simple and so easy. And had I got in there from day one, I'd be a millionaire, blah, 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 blah. It's so easy to look at in hindsight rather than feel the regret of not doing it or feel the regret of doing it and then losing it all. I'm just like, you know what? My life was perfectly fine before Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies came out. So I'm just going to ignore it. Thomas is Leonardo, except that Thomas is not a leader. Like, he is a leader, but like he doesn't lead us. Like, even if he wanted to lead us, we wouldn't listen to anything he says. So he can't really be Leonardo. But yeah, as far as being like kind of uptight, yeah, he is Leonardo. That's very true. Out of the four of you, who do you see tying the knot first? Thomas. That's no question. Like, if the other four of us even tie the knot at any point, that's like very up in the air. Play something on your keyboard. I would, except for there's no speakers on this. So I would have to set it up at some point. We could do like a music live stream at some point. Although I don't really play much anymore, so. Mark Keeney says, oh, no, he just asked it. Will you grow your hair out long again? Okay, so 5-minute warning, by the way. We're stopping at 8:15. No more rambling from me. Will you grow your hair out long again? Probably not to the same extent I did before, but I could totally see myself growing it out like to a medium length. Not like a long length, but like where there's actually some... Who's the best at games of the four of you? Brian. No question. Like Smash Brothers, dude, like every time we play Smash Brothers, except for the latest one, I will say I got pretty good at that one when we were still playing it. And I think he was still better than me, but I gave him a real run for his money. But remember, like, when we played Smash Brothers Melee, dude, Brian would beat us every single time. And it was just like, it was a joke. Like, he'd pick Fox, and we knew he was going to win. So it was just like, you have to enjoy the journey. You can't try to actually win, because he's still going to beat you. And Maesta says, if you're reading this, it's time to go. LOL. Yeah, it's still going over for some reason. Favorite color? I've always said blue, but yeah, it's still blue, but I have a much higher interest in the other colors these days, it's particularly orange and yellow. Okay, Alex Tessman, he says, yeah, they have good individual game communities on Twitch, especially for retro games. I think you potentially grow fast there. That is a very good point. Because the YouTube doesn't have that. Yeah, man, that's okay. That's great. Great idea. Nathan Lott says, how many eggs do you eat in a year? What's 365 times at least 2? It's like over 700. So I don't know, 800 to 900 a year probably. And if you count eggs in foods, probably higher. Would you interested in outsourcing things that you don't like doing? After Effects graphics, for example. After Effects, yes. If you are amazing in After Effects, the next time I get an After Effects job, I will call you because I hate After Effects so much. I just don't enjoy it. I'm not very good at it. It's always a struggle. That would be the only thing I'd outsource. Music, editing, filming, all that stuff. That's all what I want to do. Has the AA crew considered Urbex? I don't know what that is. Do you like Psytrance? Also don't know what that is. Oh man, love your show. My wife says it should be called Nerds in the Woods. That's a great marketing opportunity. If we change the name from Adventure Archives to Nerds in the Woods, people would be maybe they'd be more inclined to click it because like, that's weird. Nerds in the Woods. What is that about? Oh. Think about that. Just bring your dinner and eat with us. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Have you thought about selling your music on sites like Epidemic Sounds or the like? Yeah, me and my buddy Nathan have thought about that, and he's been looking into it a little bit. We haven't really like put a lot of effort into it because we both got other stuff going on, so we haven't done enough of that. But we really should, because some of that stuff, like especially for like indie video games, like our music is like tailor-made for that. Like if you made the next Minecraft, take our music, put it in there, boom, you got the next Minecraft. Alex, what Patreon level do I have to reach to get Brian to do a freestyle rap about a topic of my choosing? I don't know. I mean, you probably just ask him if he can do it for you. James Blackburn, thank you for watching. You should ban Trump supporters. I won't be doing that. Christy Cat says, didn't find Hanson's point. Hanson's point was, it was weird. We just had to like find it, you know? Or we just randomly found it because some dude told us about it. So like if we hadn't been up moving around at the right time, we would have totally missed it. Recommendations on an editing program for beginners, Sony Vegas. It's like close to free. It's like $30. That'll get you what you need. It works really well. It's takes like any type of video file. That's a great starter. For just editing videos, start with that. Please include your mom more. I will do that. Evercampton, Wisconsin. Okay, the alarm has just gone off. It's 8:15. I'm going to go through really fast. Evercampton, Wisconsin. No. Urbex, Urban Exploration. That'd be awesome. I don't know how to get into that without breaking laws, but I would love to do that. Will you do more video game music videos? Yes. I've been trying to think of the next one we're going to do and how we can make those more regular. There's already a hiking nerd channel. Okay, well, maybe we shouldn't call it Nerds of the Woods. Nathan says, Brian, can I get a shout out? He's not here, but I'll pretend I'm Brian. Nathan, what's up, man? Here's a shout out to you. Okay. What is better TV show, Samurai Gourmet or Midnight Diner? So far, Samurai Gourmet, but that's because I've seen all the episodes. I've only seen like 2 episodes of Midnight Diner. It's Wyatt. But Samurai Gourmet, I feel like I could watch over and over and over again because each one's like a separate thing. So I'm like, oh, I want to watch that episode. Whereas Midnight Diner seems like there's a continuation. But maybe I'm completely wrong about that because now that I'm thinking about it, Midnight Diner is kind of also a one-off each time. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. That was today's stream for February 26th. Is a Monday on 2018. Thank you for watching. There will be a vlog tomorrow. It's going to suck, but the vlog the day after should be a little bit better at least. I'm going to go eat dinner. Thank you for watching. How do I end the vlog? I go stop it on here. I'll see you guys.